I speak obviously as a Senator for Dublin University, and following my Labour colleague Senator Hoey, our spokesperson on higher education, who has outlined our position on this legislation and our support for the formation of the new department, albeit many of us do believe in education as a continuum, and that it is very important that we insist on the same principles underlying our entire education system, from preschool years through primary, secondary and indeed third level. So to that extent, I've spoken before on the need to ensure that education remains seen in that light as a continuum, and indeed that it doesn't finish at third level, that we also have a commitment to education beyond third level through postgrad and indeed for mature learners and second chance learners. And that, I think, is a hugely important principle for my party and indeed for any of us on the left in Ireland. Senator Hoey also spoke in reference to our position on the amendments, and it is unfortunate that these amendments were put in as amendments and rather than being contained in the original version of the bill. But I know that in the Dáil, our Labour deputies have also spoken against the principle of the amendments. We'll be opposing those amendments. I do want to say in general, though, in terms of higher education and in terms of your speech, Minister, that I do welcome in particular the package of 168 million that has been made available to the sector. That's been welcomed, I know, by all involved in the sector, by the unions involved, union of students and others. That package of supports for further and higher education institutions and students is essential. But there are still immense concerns within the sector, and I know others have spoken on this already, immense concerns about how we are going to address the implications of COVID-19 once term resumes in September or October. And the announcement this week that it appears, at least, that universities and colleges are going to have to abide by the 2-metre rule, when there had previously been indications that that might no longer be the case by the time the institutions reopen. That has really caused immense consternation and anxiety, because it is very difficult to see how we can offer the education we would like to be able to offer to our students in third level if that 2-metre rule remains in place. And that is a real concern. And it is at odds somewhat with other indications from other sectors. And I'm speaking in particular about indications in other areas of education, indeed indications here in these houses that there might be relaxation of the 2-metre rule in respect of, for example, committee sittings in Oireachtas committees after the recess in September. So I would ask, Minister, that we might have greater clarification on that, and that you and the new department might bear in mind, and indeed Minister Harris might bear in mind, the immense difficulties that the 2-metre rule will cause for students and educators, albeit that for all of us, of course, public health and safety is our top priority, and that is, of course, clear. Could I also just finally refer to Senator McDougall's point about the need for a coherent plan for funding of third level? And I think that beyond the immense challenge of COVID, this is the big challenge for Minister Harris and for this new department, is to address front and centre the recommendations of the Castles report. And my own party has stated very clearly its preference for the option of public funding for our third level sector. Previous speaker referred to Donna O'Malley and free secondary education. We should be going back to the principle of free third level education for all, and that is what the Castles envisages as one of the options. And this Minister, and indeed you, Minister Collins, should, I would urge you, take on board that recommendation and address it, because we do know there's a funding crisis at third level. The university heads, the heads of all the third level colleges have spoken about this many times. We do know, as you've said in your own speech, how important third level sector is for our economy and for our society. And we do know also that we need to invest in research, we need to invest in skilling up, and we need to invest to ensure inclusion as well, that students from disadvantaged backgrounds have equal opportunities and equal access and equal rights of access in third level. And it's something within Trinity I've really pushed for within the law school there and across the college, where we have a very internationally recognised programme, the Trinity Access Programme. And Senator Ivana has been hugely to the fore on pushing for recognition of access rights in universities and in third level. So we need to ensure there's adequate funding in place for access, for equality, for proper investment in the sort of technology and the sort of skill building that we're going to need, not just at the time of COVID, but beyond that too.